What is up, everyone? Welcome to Game Week 11's top captaincy picks video. Now, my name's Ryan. Welcome to the Football Chatbox. And if you're new, hit the subscribe button because we do this every week, every Tuesday, where we look at the upcoming game week's captaincy picks and who are the best captains. So hit that subscribe button if you're new, and let me know how your game week 10 went in the comments. And yeah, let's get into the video. Alright, so game week 11. Now, if you're new again, just letting you know, how we do this is we basically look at the best teams for expected goals and compare them against the teams with the worst expected goals conceded, and then we try and see whether we can try and find a few captaincy options. We also have to take into context a bit of like the teams, when what teams they faced, the opposition, because sometimes they might have faced some easy teams in the last 4 game weeks, and that could sometimes change, like boost the stats a bit better compared to maybe the opposition they're about to face. So right here, teams for, this is last 4 game weeks data. All of this data that you see is the last 4 game weeks I've got from Fantasy Football Scout in the members area. And you can use my link in the description to go and sign up for them. Now, Southampton, Chelsea, West Ham, and Liverpool have the best expected goals in the last 4 game weeks, while Crystal Palace, West Ham, Leicester, and City have the best expected goals conceded in the last 4 game weeks. Now, apart from that, you have the likes of like Leeds, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Tottenham, who have the next best 4. So the yellow is basically the next best 4, which is like 5 to 8 in terms of expected goals conceded. Now, Leeds, like I mentioned earlier, where sometimes you have to take into context who they've played. Leeds have played, they played Watford, Wolves, and I believe Norwich. So Watford, Wolves, and Norwich in the last 4 they played those 3 teams. So you kind of have to take into context that some of the stats can improve compared to what their actual type of performances is. So now Leicester going against the Leeds team, you would kind of favor Leicester because of the fact that they're a better team. Even though Leeds have improved defensively, it doesn't necessarily mean that they've improved really. It's just that they have not come up against tougher opposition, so their defense hasn't been tested that much. Now, teams who are pretty bad defensively: United, Newcastle, Watford, and Aston Villa. Out of those 4 teams, United, I'm a bit cautious at the moment because we saw against Spurs they played a back 3 formation. In the last 4 game weeks, you'd also keep in mind that they have the Leicester and Liverpool games, which has made their stats incredibly bad, and they're still pretty defensively poor. I'm thinking that Solskjaer might still go with the same back 5 formation against City, so I wouldn't expect too many goals to concede, but at the same time, I think if you want to captain a City player against United, it's not a bad shout. The only problem is I don't know who you would captain. Maybe a Foden, but it's a bit risky. And there are a few others. Compared to when Liverpool went against United, when United were just bad, really bad. Now that they have a back 5 formation, it kind of changes things a bit. So keep that in mind as well. Alright, so having said all of that, my captain's picks this week. Now, there's the whole discussion of Salah perma-captain. Now, Liverpool do have one of the best attacks, but they're going against a West Ham team that are top 4 for expected goals and expected goals conceded, which means they're pretty good all over the pitch, West Ham. And can we expect Salah to actually be a perma-captain option this week? Maybe we'll have a look into it. Looking at the stats, West Ham are defensively good. They've only conceded 3 goals in the last 4 game weeks at an XGC of 105.3 minutes per expected goals conceded. So doesn't really shout that Salah is probably going to get the same returns. Like again, in Brighton, he got only an assist, not too much. So we'll see how it goes this game week. The other teams I've kind of looked at is Tottenham. Could be an interesting option against the Everton team. Leicester is another interesting option against the Leeds team. I've also highlighted Arsenal, Watford. So Arsenal as another option against a poor Watford team. So now, having said all of that, let's start with my number 1 pick, which would probably be Spurs and Heung-min Son. Now, there are rumors that Conte is going to be manager for Tottenham. So could see a bit of a new manager bounce as well from Spurs, and who better to do it against rather than Everton, who defensively have been pretty poor this time. They're currently ranked 16th in expected goals conceded in the table I just showed you. Son is valued at 10.2 million. He's had a goal and 2 assists in the last 4 game weeks. He's had expected goals of 1.8, which is pretty good. 4 big chances and 10 chances created. And also, as you can see, he takes both the corners as well. So if anyone decides to score, good option. Now, Conte also does love to play his wing-back opportunities, which means Son could potentially play at the striker role, as out of position. And as you can see, Everton's expected goals conceded. So the shot map that you see at the bottom, just below his heat map, is there are shots conceded in the last 4 game weeks, and Everton conceded a lot centrally. And that kind of helps Heung-min Son, who does play down that position as well. So it could help him as a potential captaincy option. So he's one captaincy option I like. Now, Salah. I put Salah in number 2 here. Initially, I was thinking of putting him in number 4. The thing that kind of changed, because initially number 4, because of the fact that West Ham were defensively good, the thing that kind of changed me was the fact that when I looked at West Ham's shot conceded map. Now, this is last 4 game weeks, and obviously there aren't too many shots there, so I went and had a look at the last 6 game weeks as well, and it's painted a very similar picture, where just like how I've done these videos previously, most of the time when Salah has delivered, it's because he's gone up against teams who are conceding a lot of shots on their left-hand side. So Salah on the right can benefit from it. West Ham, same story. Conceding a lot of shots on their left-hand side. So that tells me that Salah is going to have quite a few opportunities against this West Ham team, even though West Ham are solid defensively recently, like in terms of the goals they've conceded, and big chances they've conceded only 3 as well in the last 4 game weeks. That shot map of where they're conceding the shots kind of tells me the form that Salah is in right now, he could potentially get a goal. So I think this week as well, he may be a decent captain option, but there are others as well that you kind of can go and say, like, okay, there are other captaincy options as well this week who you could consider. Big chances, he's had 5 and 8 chances created in the last 4 game weeks, and with an expected goal involvement of 3.5. Now, Salah, we have spoken about Salah, could be a good captaincy option, especially given that shot conceded map, which is very interesting to see that where they're conceding their shots are mainly from the right. Sorry about that. Where they're conceding the shots are mainly from the left, which helps Salah coming from the right. Now, up third, Arsenal. I've selected Aubameyang for this because they're going against a Watford team, which is pretty poor. And as you can see, Watford, they concede a lot of shots centrally, mainly, and a bit on the wings as well. But a lot is focused very centrally, and Aubameyang being the striker for Arsenal can kind of benefit from that as well. They've considered 10 big chances with the XG considered a 7.65. They're ranked 18th as the worst defense. 4 big chances in the last... They're ranked 18th. Aubameyang has had 4 big chances in total in the last 4 game weeks. He's created 3. XG of 1.72, which is pretty decent. 2 goals and 1 assist as well in the last 4 game weeks. Priced at 10 million. It's a bit pricey, but yeah, if you have him, I don't think not many people have him, but if you do have him, a decent captaincy punt for this week against Watford. And then finally, Leicester City. Vardy. Now, Vardy's stats have fallen off a cliff. Now, Vardy usually does overperform his stats, so his stats are never that great. But they were sometimes on those tables. Like, they were in the top 20 players in terms of, like, expected goal involvement and all of that, and XG and everything. But his stats recently have fallen off a cliff, so keep that in mind when trying to captain Vardy. I think he's still a really good option. He's going against a Leeds team. Obviously, they've considered 3 big chances, but then again, like I mentioned at the start, you have to consider the opposition they faced as well, and it wasn't great opposition. And we saw the Norwich game. Leeds aren't great on set pieces. Vardy and Leicester in general are pretty decent at set pieces as well. So Vardy could be an option as a captaincy punt this week. He's at least one of the strong options as well this week, because a lot of people will own him and might look to captain him as well. In terms of goals, he's had only 2 goals and 2 goals in the last 4 and no assist with an XG of 0.8. expected assist of 0.23 and an expected goal involvement of 1.03. So keep that in mind. Stats have fallen off a bit, but still a decent option as a captain spot. So that's my captain's video for this week. If you are new, hit the subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. If you've been watching until this now, hit that subscribe button. We do this every week, and this week we will have the podcast tomorrow live on YouTube at 9 p.m. Australian 9 p.m. Australian time, so Sydney time, 9 p.m. Sydney time. So have a look at that tomorrow live on YouTube. I'll have the event up as well, so make sure you hit the subscribe button to get notified when the video drops. Team selection video on Friday, and I'm also doing Scout the Game Week with Sam from Fantasy Football Scout today, and that will probably be up on Thursday, so check it out for that as well. Hit the subscribe button if you're new, and yeah, good luck everyone. Wish you all a good game week upcoming, and then we have the international break, and we'll have lots of content during that as well, looking at wildcard as well for game week 12. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see you all tomorrow for the podcast live on YouTube.
I'm walking